And here we go. So let's all find our seat. You guys are probably going to hear my family. They're just like right over, you can probably see them. They're in the dining room playing games because they've all been forbidden to do anything with technology because they were having fights before 6 a.m. this morning. So I took all technology and put it in a special place away from everyone. They're not very happy with me, but I'm not very happy with them. So there you go. All right. So let's find our comfortable seat. And if you are one of the people that really wants to stretch out your hips, let's try this pose today. I usually say that you can sit in any sort of pose that feels nice, but if it's available to you, let's try this Siddhasana. I'm going to sit up so you can see a little bit. My feet are like really, really pulled in. They're as far pulled in as they can go. I'm on the sides of my shins here, and the feet are folded in, really, really pulled in. Now, if you don't have that sort of flexibility in your hips, you can take blocks and put them underneath your knees, or maybe you don't have blocks, you can use a pillow or rolled up towel or whatever you've got to give yourself a little bit of height there if you don't have that sort of openness in the hip joint. So you don't really, we're not looking for, at least right now, to be pressing. We're just going to let this be passive. So if you need that support, put that under your knees. And then close your eyes. We'll start to root down into the ground. And I always have this tendency to rock forward. So think about having a wall behind you. Think about maybe leaning back just a little bit. That's going to require you to activate your core just a little bit. Sit back. Lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the crown of the head. Start to relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyes. Think of stretching yourself from the top of your head, like a string is attached all the way through your seat, like it's being pulled into the ground. So feel space between each vertebra. Maybe start to bring your breath into those spaces between each of those bones. Imagine how that would feel. If you can, relax the tongue in the bottom of the mouth. Breathe in and out through the nose. Let's take 2 more breaths here. If you're like me and you have noises going on around you, your family or whatever it is, see if you can just take your focus inward. And then let's set an intention for ourselves this morning. Whatever that intention is for you, it is a positive statement, an affirmation, or maybe it's a sense of energy that you want to give to yourself or somebody else. Whatever that intention is, take it in between your hands, allowing a little bit of space in between your palms to hold it there. Bring it to your heart. Breathe it into that heart space. Exhale out. And let's release that and begin to open the eyes. Let's take a little seated stretch here. So let's take the feet out into Baddha Konasana. It's that butterfly pose, right? And we're going to grab the ankles, and I'll turn so you can see a little bit better. Just going to round the spine. It's like a seated cat-cow, right? So we're going to bring the shoulders forward, rock back on the pelvis, and arch the back. Let the chin come down to the chest. Really feel that stretch in your shoulders, stretch through the back. And then sit up and pull yourself forward. Find a little bit of arch in your back, right? So I'm not center, I'm forward, past center. And then come back. Stretch through the back and the shoulders. And then rock back up into that seated cow. Really pull your shoulder blades back. And again, sit back. Tuck that chin. Sit up tall. And then let's take that seated cat and hold here for a moment. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Imagine that space in between your vertebrae again. Nice. And now sit up, back at center. Bring the knees up towards the sky, feet are flat on the ground. And we're gonna take the arms down by the ankles. Okay, it's another version of that stretch. So now we're gonna roll back here, the knees up high. Really feel that space across the back of your shoulder blades. And then sit up nice and tall. Let's do that again. Sit back, curl the spine. And bring the chest towards the thighs, really squeeze in. And again, roll down. And bring the chest back up. Now take the hands under the feet, lift your feet up. And we're gonna try to extend those legs any amount into a forward fold. A little tough early in the morning. See if you can wrap your fingers around the edges of your feet. Maybe you grab your toes. Maybe you can't find that, which is fine. You can grab your shins, or if you have your strap, use your strap. Keep your shoulders away from the ears. Make this active here at first. Really pull the feet towards you, shoulders down, and arch your back. Feel that stretch in the spine here. And when you're pulling, you should be feeling that stretch in your lats as well, because you're actively pulling your feet towards you, but still like pulling your back away. Lower the chin. And then release the effort and just hang down. Find that stretch in the back of your neck. You should feel it here, right along the cervical spine, all the way down into your tailbone. Couple more breaths here. And then let's reach forward through the crown of the head. Try to straighten your back as much as you can, and then sit up. Take a little counter stretch here. Put the hands back behind you so your fingertips are pointed towards your hips. And we're going to lift into a reverse plank. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Shoulder blades towards one another. See if you can get your feet flat down to the ground. Strengthen through that low back, stretch through the arms, and then release. Let's come over onto the knees, and then we'll find tabletop. So we already did our cat-cow, so we're gonna take a little side stretch. Press back into your not down dog, your child's pose. Press your seat back. Find space at the low back. Cross your sacrum. And then let's walk the hands towards one side. I'm reaching towards my right, and at the same time I'm reaching my hands away from me, I'm taking my left hip towards my left heel. Nice side stretch. Then hands walk back center. And to the left. And sit that right hip over towards the right heel. With every exhale, try to find a little bit more stretch.
Stop, come here.
And then walk the hands back to center. My house is a zoo. Nice, come back to tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, come to down dog. Take a moment to just walk your dog. Roll through the feet. Stretch out through the calves and the hamstrings. Shoulders away from the ears. Then find some stillness in your down dog. Lift the hips. Press back through the hands. Think about getting your heels down to the ground. Nice. And then we're just gonna walk our legs straight all the way back up. It's a little waddle that we like to take. Feels so nice to stretch out. And then hang here in your forward fold. If you wanna take your arms into ragdoll, you can take your feet a little bit apart and maybe sway side to side. That can feel really nice on the low back. Let's find some release there. And if you have your arms crossed, switch the direction. Switch which hand is on top. And then release the hands, bend the knees, and then we're gonna roll up one vertebra at a time all the way to standing. Might take a minute here to roll out your shoulders. Nice. And then we're going to come into Surya Namaskar A. So, I have to strip because I get hot. All right. We're going to come to Tadasana. So feet together. Legs nice and straight, tailbone tucked, spine nice and straight, lengthen through the crown of the head, arms sweep out and up, reach up, find length here, and then we'll forward fold, flat back, send those hips back, and reach all the way down as far as you can go. And then halfway lift to the fingertips, or hands on the shins, wherever you need to be to find that length in your spine. And release, palms come down. Step back for these first couple ones here. Find that plank pose. Nice and strong in your plank, right? We're really pressing into the floor. We're not sinking in the shoulders. Find width in the back of your body. Navel towards the spine. Find that strength. And then when we lower down, elbows bend, graze the rib cage all the way down to the floor. And lift up, cobra pose. So squeeze those elbows in, press the tops of the feet into the floor, squeeze the glutes, and then release. Tuck the toes, and we're gonna push back up into plank pose, and then lift the hips, down dog. Big breath in. And out. Let's take that waddle walk all the way back in. Feel that stretch. Let yourself waddle from side to side. You'll feel a stretch in your side body. And forward fold. Then reverse swan dive. Lift, flat back, all the way up. Hands to heart. Arms come out and up. And flat back, forward fold, all the way down. Halfway lift. Plant those palms again, step back to find your plank. Set yourself up nice and strong, and then lower down, grazing the rib cage all the way down. Lift up. This time let's take our Sphinx pose for just a moment here while we're down on the ground. Sphinx pose is a lot like Cobra pose, except we take the forearms down to the floor in front, like they're on train tracks, right? So knees are still lifted, pressing into the tops of the feet, but you're allowing your forearms to provide a little bit of a back bend here. Squeeze your glutes to protect the low back. And then release. Palms come back to your sides, tuck the toes, press up, and back down dog. Big breath in and out. Last time for that waddle walk. All the way back up, forward fold, then reverse swan dive lift, all the way up, hands to heart. This time if you're ready to add in your jump back and jump forward, feel free. If you'd like to do your up dog, you can do that as well. Forward fold, halfway lift, either step or jump back, find chaturanga or your plank pose. Move into up dog. Pause in your up dog for a moment. Squeeze those glutes. Lift the knees. Press into the tops of the feet. Shoulders away from the ears. Stretch through your abs. Then press back over the toes. Heels down, down dog. Big breath in and out. High on the toes. Bend the knees and come to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Arms come out and up. Lift. Hands to heart. Arms sweep out and up. Forward fold. Flat back. All the way down. Halfway lift. And find your vinyasa. Whatever that is for you. You can also always come down to your knees. Feet in down dog. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen through your down dog. High on the toes, bend the knees, and come to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Arms come out and up. Reach up. Hands to heart. One more time. Arms out and up. Flat back, forward fold all the way down. Halfway lift. Plant those palms. Find your vinyasa. And roll over the feet. Down dog. Stay in down dog here for 3 big breaths. With each exhale, try to push back a little further. Sink those heels down. At the same time, you lift your hips up. One more big breath. High in the toes, bend the knees. Come to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Arms come out and up. Reach up. Hands to heart. Close your eyes. Remember that intention you set for yourself at the beginning of class. Breathe it in. Exhale out. One more time. Breathe it in. And exhale out. We'll move into Surya Namaskar B. We won't do so many this time, maybe 3 rounds or so, and then we'll bring it back down to the mat. We'll see. So arms come out and up, reach up, flat back, forward fold all the way down. Halfway lift, and move through your flow. Hips lift, down dog. Reach that right foot up high. Find that nice extension there. Then bend and spin that hip open. Press the left heel down. Extend through the right leg. Knee comes to nose and hover. Extend that right leg. Right knee, right elbow, pause. Extend the right leg. Right knee, left elbow, pause. Right leg comes back nice and high. And then step it through in between the hands. Lower the left knee down, top of the left foot, come up to low lunge. If you need to put a blanket under your knee, or if you want to fold your mat, you can do that too. Think about squaring your hips. So at the same time that you're pressing forward into that right foot, you're pushing into the left quad too. So it's an active stretch. Shoulders down. Hands lift. See if you can press forward just a little bit more. And then hands come down, opposite sides of the foot. Lift high on the back toes. Take a minute here in this low lunge. Find that square hip again. Let's really stretch this out. Take the left hand into the, inner arch of the right foot and find your twist. Stretch out that spine, stretch those hips, stretch the glutes. If you want, you can bring your left arm across the top of your left thigh. Hands towards the heart, a little bit more of a twist. Then release. We're going to find lizard pose. So forearms come down to the inside of the right arch. You can drop your left leg if you like. More active stretch. You keep high on the left toes. Stretch out those hips. And then come back up on the hands and step right foot back. Plank pose. Find your vinyasa. Meet in down dog. Left leg lifts. Bend and spin that hip open. Pop, and then extend the left leg. Left knee comes to the nose. Extend the leg behind. Left knee, left elbow. Lift that leg. Left knee, right elbow. lift, and then step the foot in between the hands. Lower the right knee down on top of the right shin. Chest lifts, hands come to the top of the left thigh. Again, think about squaring those hips. So even as you press forward into that left foot, think about pulling your right quad nice and tight and reaching it back behind you from your hip. Arms lift. And then hands come down. Find that low lunge. So we're high on the right toes now. Going to move the right hand in towards the arch of the left foot. Find a twist on this side. Feel that stretch in the outer hip. Stretch in the back. If you want to take that more advanced twist, you can lift your right arm off, cross over the top of the right thigh. Really use that as leverage to help twist. Wring out that back. Then release the twist. Walk the hands to the inside of that left foot and find your lizard pose on this side. Again, feel free to drop your right knee if you need to. And then we'll come back up. Step the left foot back, plank pose, and find your flow. Press back, down dog. Big breath in and out. High on the toes, bend the knees, come to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Arms sweep out and up, lift up, and hands to heart. Arms come out and up, flat back, forward fold, all the way down. Halfway left, and find your flow. Press back, down dog. This time lift that right leg back behind you. Bend and spin the hip open. And then we're going to extend the leg to the side. Really lift. Use that outer hip. And then bend. And square the hips. Keep the knee bent. We're going to do that a couple more times, okay? So we lift the leg back behind. Bend and spin the hip. And then extend towards the side. Bend back in, rotate down. One more time, bend and spin. Extend the leg to the side. Be strong in those arms and obliques. Bend that knee back in. And step it through in between the hands. Rise up, high lunge. Square your hips. Nice and low on the legs. Find that strength there. And from here, hop step that back foot up just a little bit so we come into warrior one. So back toes pointing towards 10 o'clock. Left heel presses down. Lengthen through the back of that left leg. Then we're going to fold over and extend the right leg for pyramid pose. Nose comes to the right knee. If you're feeling pretty strong in the legs and like you've got some space in your right hamstring, you can try to reach your hands back behind you. You can also take a minute here to take your hands back at your sacrum, interlace the fingers, and extend through the arms and rinse out through the shoulders. Nice shoulder stretch. And then release. Let's take the hands down to the ground. We're going to move into our standing split. So weight comes into the right foot. You can bend that front knee. Left leg lifts behind. And fold over that front leg. You can play with your balance here if you like. You can take one hand off or both. Or if the stretch is too much, you can always grab your block too and add a little height, right? So it decreases the distance between your hand and the floor. You can use that as your like lifted floor. And then we're gonna take that vinyasa we've taken before where you bend the left knee and you're gonna cross it back behind the right. Tap the left toes and then lift back up. Bend left knee, cross it back behind the right, tap the right toes. Really strong in the legs here. One more time, cross that left knee behind, tap the toes. From here, we're gonna find a seat. All right, so we put our weight into the left hip. Right knee pulls into the chest. Just take a minute here to feel this pose out before we add in the twist, right? So pull that knee in. Feel the stretch in the hip. And then we're going to take the left arm and I'm going to grab my knee across. If you want more stretch in the shoulder, you can cross your arm over and use it to press. That just happens to hurt an injury that I have, so I like this version. So I have my right hand back behind me, really stretching out through that right glute, outer hip. Find that twist, nice stretch in the back. And then release the twist. We're going to come back up into that standing split. So we're going to roll over. Weight comes into the right foot, left leg lifts. And let's bring it back down to a forward fold. Just hang here for a second. And let's sit the hip back and come to chair pose. So really reach those glutes back. I'll find another twist here. Hands come to heart. Left arm comes over the right leg. So it's really the left tricep is going to cross over that right quad. Nice twist in the spine. Strong in the legs. You don't have to hold this forever. And then release. Now I want you to keep your belly on your thighs. Reach the arms forward. And then cross in the opposite direction. So right tricep over that left quad. Find a twist. And release. Fold over those legs. And reverse swan dive lift all the way up. Hands reach up. Hands to heart. Arms sweep out and up. Flat back, forward fold. All the way down. Halfway lift. And find your vinyasa. Meet and down dog. Left leg lifts. Bend and spin that hip open. Now extend the leg to the side. Bend it back in. Then rotate the hips down. Lift. Spin the hip. Extend the left leg. Foot comes back in, rotate the hip down. One more time. Spin that hip open, extend the left leg to the side. Foot comes back to center, rotate the knee, and then step the foot in between the hands. Take a second to square yourself up. We're going to move into high lunge. If you need a little check here, you can take your hands to your hips. Make sure they're facing forward. And then we'll hop step the right foot in just a bit so that the right toes are pointed to 2 o'clock. Right heel is down. Find a stretch through the back of the right leg. And then extend through the left leg as you fold over for pyramid pose. Couple breaths here. Again, if you need that extra stretch, you can walk your hands back behind. Whatever feels good for you. One more breath. And then we're going to move into that standing split. Weight comes into the left foot, bend the left leg, right leg back behind. If you want to play with that balance here, go ahead. Not feeling very balancy today. If you're in the balance, Hands come back down. I'm gonna bend the right knee. I'm gonna reach it, cross back behind the left. Tap the toes down to the ground. And then bend the knee back in, extend the right toes high. 2 more times, bend the right leg, cross it back behind the left knee, tap the right toes, and then lift back up. Last time here, bend the leg, cross back behind the left, tap those toes. We're gonna find a seat now on the right side. So take a minute to set yourself up. Feel like you're square in your hips here. Pull the knee into the chest, and we're gonna take a twist. So either take the arm over, we're gonna get a little bit more active in the shoulder, or reach the arm around the leg to pull it in. Left hand comes back behind you like a kickstand. Couple breaths here. Really feel that stretch in the outer left hip, left glute. And then release the twist. We're going to bring that weight forward again. So into the hands, roll yourself up. Find that standing split. And then right foot comes in to meet the left. Forward fold. Nice, hands come out and up. Reach up. And hands to heart. Now we're going to go ahead and move it to the floor. And we're going to find some deep stretches for our hips and glutes and our shoulders. So just go ahead and come down, find a seat. We'll start off kind of slow. We should already be pretty open in our hips and in our spines. We've done lots of twisting. So let's start in Baddha Konasana. We've been here before, but we're going to find some different stretches now. So like I said, if you need a little height, you can always put your blocks under your knees or a pillow or a towel, whatever you've got. Just take a moment here. You can rock side to side. See how that feels in those hips. And then take a moment of stillness here. Lift up through the spine, and then you're going to reach your heart forward into the feet, not the head, not this, but reach, lengthen through the spine. Come down as far as you can. Again, if you have those blocks, they're so nice because you can turn it into, even if you're reaching long with your spine, you can use the blocks as a place to rest your head. It just takes a little bit of the stress out of the neck. Sometimes it's nice to be able to have that to press into. So really reaching forward. Big stretch in the hips. And then relax your head down. Just let it go. Find length in your spine. You might even walk your hands forward. You'll feel more stretch in the back body. Find your breath. And then we'll lift out and up the straight spine. We're just going to take a variation of that stretch now. So we're going to take more of a diamond shape. So we're just walking the feet out in front. Sorry, that hurts on my wood floor. Walk the feet out in front so you have a wider diamond shape. We're just going to take that same stretch. We're going to reach forward. This time you are reaching your head more towards your feet. You'll feel a little bit different stretch in those hips. You can release the head and neck down. Just melt into the floor. Breathe into that opening. And then reach long through the spine and lift back up. All right, we're going to take a stretch now. It's kind of like cow face pose, but we're not going to go quite that far. So cow face pose, you're trying to get the knees on top of each other. You're stacking one leg over the top. This is actually, what's fire log pose? So for fire log pose, what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna cross, I'm gonna start with the right leg on top. So my shins are parallel to the front edge of my mat. My knees are out to the side, right? Again, if you need any props or whatever, feel free. If you're super open in your hips, you can even take a block like under your foot. It's not super comfortable for me, but some people are super open and that feels better for them. So if you need that, take it. If you need to put a block under your leg, take that, whatever you need. We're gonna sit up nice and tall, and then we're just gonna start to fold forward over those hips, any amount. If you have a prop, pillow, blanket, this is pretty big hip opener here, so you can use your block as a little extra rest if you need it on any level. Just fold forward. We're gonna hang out here for a little bit. Sometimes if you have tightness in your low back, it can be to do with tight hips too. So all these areas that we're working on sort of work together, right? Find your breath. And be careful of your knees here, right? So if you're feeling any sort of pressure or tension in your knees, play with the cross of your legs, right? You might need to take it out a little bit and a little bit. Work with your body. With each exhale, try to get a little bit lower. And now while we're down, stay down, okay? And we're gonna walk the hands over to the right side. Really think about folding over the right thigh. Big, big stretch across the low back, in the hips, in the glutes. Should feel a stretch in the side of the left body. Try to relax over that thigh. And now, still staying down, it's a lot to ask here, I know. You might grab a block or a pillow if you need it, or think about lowering your right forearm down to the ground. Okay, and then the left arm reaches up and over, big, huge, giant stretch. If you need extra height, take it. If you need a little bit of an assist from the floor, if that's just too big of a stretch in those hips, take what you need. And then we're gonna reach up, come back to center, uncross those legs, and take a minute to windshield wiper them out from side to side. Take your weight back into your hands. Big, big stretch in those legs. We'll take a quick break from that before we come back to it on the opposite side. Take a little different kind of hip opening first. So let's go for the wide angle pose, okay? Just as far as you can go to your edge, right? Everybody's built differently. Think about the toes pointing skyward. We're gonna stay upright for a minute, okay? So we're gonna work on stretching through the feet a little bit first. So we're gonna point and flex the feet. So you're sitting up nice and tall. We're not hunched over, nice and tall. We're just working the feet here. Point, get that stretch across the top of the foot and flex. Point, flex. Let's do that one more time. Point and flex. Now we're gonna work with a different kind of rotation in the hips. So it's kind of hard to see. I hope you guys can see my feet okay, because I think that'll be a better demonstration. So I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to start moving it from the hip. I'm moving it from the hip. My knee is straight, my toes aren't moving. It's all coming from my hip. And it's a subtle movement. I'm going to reach my toes forward and I'm going to reach them back. I like to point my toes, but you don't have to. So I'm reaching my pinky toe back behind me, and then I'm gonna reach my big toe back to the front, okay? Let's do that with both feet. So we're reaching behind, get that rotation. If you need to use your hands too, if that makes more sense to you, if you can see what I'm doing with my hands, it's this kind of action from the hip joint, okay? So it's in the legs here. So rotate forward and then rotate back, rotate forward, rotate back. One more time, forward and back. And then we'll begin to walk the feet, sorry, not the feet, the hands out just as far as you can go. If you need that block, take it. Maybe you are just like butter and you can melt down to the floor. Wherever you are, try to make it relatively passive, right? In fact, I am gonna grab my block and give myself something to put my head on. Sometimes if we just hang out in a stretch, the muscles will just start to open slowly without any sort of extra effort on our part. The passive stretch can be really nice. Couple more big breaths here. We're going to remove any prop that you might have. Come back up to center. All right. Check my time here. I'm okay. I don't want to run out. We're going to stay in this stretch, really opening up here. All right. We're going to take the arms out, and we're going to find our eagle arms. So we're going to take the arms, cross one over. It doesn't matter which one is on top. Make an X with your arms, then bend the elbows, and then you're going to try to clap your hands together, right? Oh, feels so good. Stretch out those shoulders, stretch out the back. Same time, we're stretching out through the hips and strengthening through the core here, right? Full body stretch and strengthen right here. And then I want you to start to lift your elbows higher and higher as you're pulling your shoulders down. Find your breath. And then release. Stay with those wide legs. Just let them hang, okay? Opposite arm crosses in front. Find eagle arms on the opposite side. So you're going to pretzel them into the shape. And then begin to lift the elbows skyward. Stretch across the top of the back. And then release. I'm going to stay here. I know you're so happy. We're going to take the right hand, come sweep it under, reach the left hand for those toes. Nice big stretch. Think about rotating through your torso so you're looking through that space. We're not looking down towards the knee. We're trying to rotate the chest towards the sky. See if you can melt down just a little bit more. And then release. Last stretch here in this wide straddle, opposite side. Right arm comes over. Try to find those left toes. You just go as far as you can. Work within your comfort zone. You can use your left arm here, like I'm pressing it into the floor, letting it help me rotate my torso as open as I can get it. And then release, come back up. Shake those legs towards the center, and then windshield wiper them out. And you're so happy because now we're gonna do fire log on the other side. So just take a minute to shake that out. And we're gonna come to fire log opposite side. So if your right leg was on top last time, we're gonna bring left leg on top this time. So think about making those shins parallel to the mat. Okay, take a minute to settle in there. Feel how that feels. Different stretch from the one we were just in. And then we're gonna start to walk forward any amount to fold over the legs. You might have a deeper stretch on this side. It might not be as deep. That's all right. You can even rock back and forth through your torso a little bit, and I get a nice stretch in my back. And wherever you are, try to find a little bit of stillness. Breathe into those tight spaces. Again, be careful of your knees. Make any adjustments that you might need. Maybe you need some support underneath. 2 more breaths here in this forward fold. Then we're gonna walk the hands over to the left. So you're staying down, right? Little twist in the spine here. Try to bring your chest over the left thigh. Melt into this stretch as much as you can. Feel it in your low back, feel it in your hips. Couple more breaths here. And then we're gonna rotate even further. So walk those hands over. We're gonna bring the left forearm down or to a block or a support, and then reach that right arm up and over. Super massive stretch in those hips, in the side body. Think about keeping the left knee down, both hips down to the ground. Big, big, big stretch. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. One more breath here. And then we'll come back up to center. Shake out those legs. Windshield wiper in front of you. Nice. Then just one more sort of hip stretch here, and then we'll lie down. I want to get a different sort of rotation in the hips, and we're still going to stretch through the legs. We're going to take left leg in front, and if it's okay for your knee, well, so you could stay here in Janu Shirshasana, okay, where the right foot is pressing inside the left thigh. But I'm going to take this stretch here. So I've rotated my foot back behind, okay? And I'm going to get a different sort of stretch. It's going to stretch across the quad. It's going to feel a little bit different in the hip here, if it's okay for your knee, right? This might not be comfortable for everybody. So if this particular stretch does not work for you, that's okay. You can go back to the other one where the the bottom of the right foot is pressed towards the inner left thigh. We'll reach up and then extend over that left leg. It's just a little bit different stretch. Try to keep both hips down and try to keep your chest square to the ground. Then let's reach up, and we're just going to switch sides, okay? So now extend the right leg, and then you're going to bend the left behind, if that feels okay. And your sides might be different, that's all right. Reach up, and then fold forward. Now eventually, when we do this stretch, this is one of the stretches I really like to do to prepare for stretching into splits, because I can start to take my left knee behind me even more and start to stretch it out and stretch it out and stretch it out until I can roll over and turn it into a split. So if you want to practice moving it back behind you at all, go ahead, see how that feels. Maybe it feels good, maybe it doesn't feel good. Then let's release that stretch. Go ahead and bend the right knee. So we're sort of in a Z here, and we're just gonna roll over to the belly. Take a moment here to just come down. Rest on one side of your face, palms towards the ceiling, and just rock your hips from side to side. You might find that there's a little bit of tension in that low back from all those hip stretches. So just let yourself shake it out here first. Nice. Find a little bit of stillness. And we're going to take a nice shoulder stretch here. We've done this one before. I think we've only done it a couple times. So you're going to lift the chest a little bit, right? We're gonna cross our arms over each other. So I'm gonna put my left hand kind of in front of me so that I can thread the needle with my right arm, okay? So I'm kind of on, my weight's on my right shoulder, but then I'm gonna cross my left arm over. So if you were looking at me from above, my body would look like a T, but my arms would be like they're crossed over each other, right? So I'm just gonna try to find a little bit of rest for my head. Make it a little, there's like a little nook here that your arms make when they're this crossed over each other. Stretch out through those shoulders. You can squeeze your glutes here too to take some pressure out of the low back. Press those hips into the floor. Tops of the feet press into the floor. Try to melt down into this posture as much as you can. Try not to press away with your palms. Your arms are pretty relaxed. One more big breath. And then we're going to unwind. So I'm going to walk my left arm in front and then pull my right arm out and switch sides. So my right hand's going to come out in front of me, prop myself up just a little bit. I'm going to take my left arm under the right arm and then walk my right arm across. Ooh, that's a big one. Yeah, I'm going to try to take any strain out of my neck by letting my chin rest. Just sort of in that little space that we make in the cross of our arms. Don't forget to press the hip bones into the floor, squeeze the glutes just a little bit. Take any pressure out of that back. Should all be in the shoulders. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll unpretzel the arms. And let's just roll over onto our backs. Nice. Take a second here to windshield wiper those legs. If you need to hang out in a twist, take it. Whatever feels nice for you. You can take a really loose twist here just by dropping the knees to one side. Let them hang. And you can drop them to the other. Take your time with that stretch, and then whenever you're ready, you'll find your final resting pose in Shavasana. Take your time, move at your pace. Maybe you don't want to take Shavasana. Maybe you just want to rock those feet, end your class the way you want to. It's your class. Do what your body needs. If you do find Shavasana, let your bones settle down to the ground. Try to release any tension that might have been built up. Hands are skyward, feet flop open. Try to take tension out of your jaw, out of the space between your brows. Just find some release here for a few minutes. You might start deepening your breath a little bit if you're ready to move out of Shavasana. If you want to stay in Shavasana, that is perfectly fine. You wiggle your fingers and your toes. Just whenever you're ready, we're going to roll onto one side if you want to join us in seated position, or if you want to stay in Shavasana, stay there. At your own speed. Find a seat, eyes closed. And if you're in that seat, come back to the seat we had at the beginning of the class. Maybe cross your opposite foot over this time. That's Siddhasana with the feet pulled in close. Maybe you can see a little difference in the openness of your hips, openness of your back, and your shoulders. Hands come to heart. Remind yourself of that intention that you set before. One last time, breathe it in. Exhale out. Thank each of you for practicing with me this morning. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. For in West Seattle, it's sunny, so that's nice. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I just muted everybody. I hope I got everybody's areas.
Yeah, I need to do more fire log.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What I learned today.
Yes, good one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome, Galen. Did you
Have a
do
good week.
Shavasana the whole time?
No, I didn't.
Next time, later.
Yeah.
You do Shavasana all day.
I'll work on it today.
Yeah. All right.
Have a good
Thanks,
weekend.
Sarah.
Have a good weekend. You're on mute.
Hello, baby boo.
Hi, how was that?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Those were all good stretches. So thank you. I had forgotten that crossed arm